Are you ready to expand your life and reality? Join us for the next hour with Jamie Bates as she shares life changing thoughts, techniques, and awarenesses to help you expand your reality.
Hello and welcome. I am Jamie Bates, consciousness facilitator and expander of realities. My mission with my radio show is to create greater awareness of what is possible and to expand you beyond the limitations of this reality. I am grateful that you're joining me today. And today we have a very special guest with us. We have Janie Breinoff, who is a licensed clinical therapist, a certified substance abuse counselor, and now she is a course creator. Janie is working on one of her specialties, which is helping people heal from narcissistic relationships. And Janie is rolling out her new program, April 15th. And today we are going to share with you some of the things Janie has in store for her new course creation. Welcome, Janie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you and to chat about this. I'm very excited that you're joining us today. This is such a huge topic in the empath realm. So, especially with people who are energetically sensitive. I mean, I think a
For
lot of people,
sure.
have been subject to some type of narcissistic relationship.
For sure, for sure.
Awesome. So we're going to begin today by having Janie share a bit with us on how she relates to this topic and what kind of got her into this whole narcissistic relationship spiral.
So I'll share this with you. When I first graduated with my, no, I wasn't even graduated. When I first got into the psychology realm, I I got myself into a narcissistic relationship with another therapist. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And I had no idea the ins and outs, even as a therapist and learning in this field, what that looked like and what that could do. So I'm like this independent woman and I'm really educated and I've got the world, everything going for me. And then I get into this relationship that makes me question everything about my reality at every given opportunity. And let me tell you, that flatlined me like none other. And I had to figure out how to get out of everything that created in my psyche and heal from that in order to be an independent, successful woman.
Yeah, I can imagine. So let's talk about that a little bit. Like, what is a classic narcissistic patterning, if you will?
I subtitled my course He Loves Me Not. Now there's a lot of characteristics in a narcissistic relationship, but looking back, I think that was some of my hallmark memories, right? We would go to sleep one night and I would get told that, I am his soulmate, and I would just surrender to this love cocoon that I was in, and it was just amazing. It was the most amazing feeling I'd ever had in my life. But when I got up the next morning, it was like I would hear the words, I don't love you. I don't know what you're even talking about. And your brain just spins. And it's like, well, wait, what? Am I crazy? And so that's where I get the He Loves Me Not subtitle from my experience. But it goes into a lot of in the beginning of your narcissistic relationship, when you get with somebody with these abusive qualities, it's it's the idealization phase. You are awesome. You are amazing. You are this beautiful, amazing woman, and they can't get enough of you. And they take you and they put you up on this plateau. But then later in the relationship, you're working and sacrificing so many pieces of you to get back up on that plateau, and it's kind of like falling from grace for no reason, honestly. Just to be honest with you, you're just falling from grace as they kind of knock you down off that throne and get you into, I'm going to quote somebody, compliance.
Mm, hmm. So this is mostly going to be focusing around like relationships with like significant others, or can they also kind of put this into relation, maybe even to like relationship with family members?
I'm designing the course is relationship, and it doesn't have to be we broke up last week, I'm signing up. Because the patterns of these narcissistic relationships, and this is hard. Sometimes this is a lifelong thing to break. It really is. And it gets down into your psyche and what you're creating in other relationships with that. And so I want to form a group more around the relationship realm. But there is that, there is often, not always, but often that family pattern where you have somebody that has created this search for someone with those narcissistic qualities.
Oh,
Does that
yeah,
make
yeah.
sense?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was wondering.
Yes. And so it can back on family patterns, definitely.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So within that, so you guys are going to kind of, so let's back up for a minute. So this is going to be a course that's going to be a live course that's starting April 15th.
Yes. This is going to be set up on Zoom sessions. And so we're going to do a Zoom group therapy. And these are going to be hour-long sessions, and it's going to go for 10 weeks. And I'm limiting the group at 12 people because what I want to do is I want to create a small therapeutic group where we connect with each other. Because going through this, you really need that support from other people to help. And I lead with this topic, uncrazy make you.
Oh, tell me
And
about that.
that validation from your group of other people that have had these experiences, it helps it's going to help make you feel more normal and validate your experience because when we get into these patterns of like I don't love you, I don't know what you're even talking about, you have to back search into your head of like, well, wait a minute, you told me you loved me yesterday. And then when they tell you that you're crazy and that they never said that, your brain just starts looping and it starts searching. And the more you do that, the more you start questioning your reality and everything around you. And the more it's harder to just get up and go to work in the morning. And the more it sacrifices your self esteem. It's just a domino effect. And so when we get together in a small therapeutic group, we can help uncreate all the crazy.
So what if somebody is in or isn't sure if they're in a narcissistic relationship? What are some of the things that are maybe telltale signs besides kind of what you just talked about the kind of the constant, back and forth? I know you mentioned that kind of always making them like invalidating the experience. Is that what you said? Where it's kind of always this. I guess I'm pretty fortunate in the fact that I would say I probably had an ex that was slightly narcissistic, but I don't know that I've gone full-fledged into a complete and total narcissistic relationship. Maybe I have, I don't know. But can you tell me some more of the signs? I know that a lot of people struggle with kind of defining, because again, they're kind of swimming in that wrongness, right? Well, maybe it's me or maybe it's my fault. Can you tell us some of the things that maybe they might be experiencing or maybe
Well,
even
if you're in that relationship, everything's your fault.
Okay, so everything's your fault.
not
That's a good
not
one.
for real, like not for real, but yeah, you're told that everything is your fault. This course is not to clinically diagnose your partner. What I am doing is I'm taking these abusive behavior patterns and I'm helping you heal from those. And we throw out the term narcissism real quick and real easy these days. And so, is it my job to diagnose your partner? No, it's absolutely not. So, I'm using narcissistic patterns. And so that goes, it's abusive patterns, is basically what it is. They have this need for control, they have this need for crazy making you. And it's bottom line, the hardest thing to see is that you're not dealing with somebody that is motivated by empathy. And that's where the narcissist and the empath pattern comes from. You are essentially dating somebody that does not have empathy. Now, our behaviors and our actions are motivated essentially throughout childhood, right? As a baby, you cry when you're hungry and you need changed. And as a child, you're going to use whatever behavior pattern is going to get you the toy or whatever your needs are met. And whatever those reinforcements are from childhood on to get your needs met is you'll mature and you'll get better at it, but those are your motivational factors. And what I mean to say by that is when you're dealing with somebody without the empathy, for instance, when I want you to love me, I don't have to be kind to you if I don't have empathy. When you hurt my heart, it's going to motivate me. When I want love, it's going to motivate me to use a specific choice of words and actions. And when you're getting into someone that doesn't have empathy, it becomes a lot more manipulative motivations,
Okay,
which
definitely.
makes them very dangerous to where when we're motivated by empathy and love and we feel so deeply, oftentimes we project that onto our partner and we can't see anything else.
Mm, yeah, definitely. I know that whole pattern of like once we decide they're perfect, awesome, great, wonderful, right? Then a lot of times we
Oh,
can't
for
see when
sure.
they're not perfect, great, wonderful.
For sure. For absolute sure. And one of the things at the very end of a lot of narcissistic relationships is called a narcissistic discard, where they get up one morning and everything is just over and done and you have no reason. And they walk out the door and you're left going, what in the heck just happened? Like, wait a minute. We were so in love. We had so many, so much. We were soulmates. We were this, we were that. Where did they go? Like, why did they just leave me? I just don't understand. And then again, your brain is doing this search, trying to make sense of everything. And that's called a narcissistic discard. And it's emotionally devastating, just
Absolutely,
devastating.
positively.
And you can't figure out how somebody could love you so much and just be okay with walking away. And that goes back into the narcissist and empathic relationship. They don't feel like we feel, and that is a dangerous, dangerous game
Oh,
with our
yeah.
emotional hearts. It's, yeah,
Definitely. Well, now that you explain it in that terms, then I definitely was in a narcissistic relationship with my ex-husband because he filed for divorce without even telling me. And I was left with that pain of like, what, like I thought we were happy. We just bought a new house. We had all these things, right? And I will say that that there is a lot of additional stuff that still kind of lingers as far as I don't necessarily think with me, but definitely with some of the things that my children deal with for sure. Um,
it's, I started working with somebody recently, and in the first 20, 30 minutes of talking to them, I could tell before they told me much of anything of their history and stuff like that, that they had been in a narcissistic relationship because their emotional regulation was similar to what I'm very conscious of, even still today. If my partner makes me mad, I am going to emotionally regulate everything. And it's it's part of navigating that narcissistic relationship too, because you're wrong for your overreactions. You're wrong for your feelings. Girl, I was wrong for having period hormones. Come on. Like I had to watch that shit like when it started rolling around at like that time of the month. I'm like, "Oh, better not have feelings, better not cry, better not do this, better not overreact," and like it's that fine emotional regulation because you were wrong for your feelings
mm,
and displaying them.
wow, that's a lot of energy. I'm just going to pull that through while we're talking about it.
Let's do that.
So you're going to be diving into that with people and really helping them really like pinpoint a lot of those places where they're where because I'm sure that that probably and I know even for myself like took me a long time to stop that patterning of inner wrongness
For sure.
around that relationship in particular. So
For
you guys are
sure.
going to be doing a lot of deep diving into that.
Yeah. And again, the classic term that goes with narcissism is gaslighting too. I didn't really go into that a lot. But it's backed into the, he loves me not, and crazy making pieces of it, but people really associate with that gaslighting term that gets thrown around with narcissism now too. and I
Tell
just
me
call it
what
crazy.
can
It's
you
crazy
can you
making, girl.
can you explain what narcissism is? Or not narcissism, I'm sorry, gaslighting is.
Gaslighting. Um, I was going over that in a group therapy session one day, and we were sitting in this closed office, and they're like, Janie, what's gaslighting? And I opened the door and I pointed outside, in which it's a bright, sunny day, and I said, it's raining cats and dogs today. And everybody looked outside, and then they did a double take, and they had to reality fact check me trying to convince them that it was raining outside. And then I closed the door, and they just looked at me with confusion. I'm like, it's clearly a sunny day, but I just made you look twice that it's raining outside, didn't I? Um,
Mm.
that's just like a very, very superficial, basic thing. You're my soulmate one night, I don't love you the next morning. You're amazing today, you disgust me tomorrow. Your friends don't really like you. Lying to you. Making you doubt things that you know.
I'm pulling that through. There's a lot of energy on that. There's like a lot of fog. Everything, all of that is. And all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of your universes? And can we just choose that now?
Yes.
Vaporize,
Yes.
vaporize, 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 vaporize. I feel everybody at home like they're like listening like, oh, I know that. Like there's just a lot of like energy
There's
coming
so
up.
many like yeah, there's so much within just my superficial terminology of situations that I've heard of people going through where they go to arrange a pickup with their children and the partner stages the pickup and calls the police instead when they go to pick up their children, or the children being used as a weapon, and just like I mean it gets so devastatingly ugly. It really does.
So in this course, you're gonna give them kind of the awareness and the information and really truly especially using therapy, getting the tools to really help them identify. Like give me some of the things that you're gonna help them do. Identify, release the wrongness.
Release the wrongness. I called one of the weeks I called it closing the loop. And the loop is a terminology I actually took from you, Jamie. Um, but when you're told a lie, your brain does this search and this loop of, well, wait a minute, it's blue outside. Blue means it's sunny. Wait a minute, why did they say it's raining? Can I find any rain? Is it wet on the ground? Maybe the flower bed is wet. Like like maybe the grass is wet. Like it's this, do you hear how much energy goes into it's sunny outside? Now, you can sit there and spin and focus all of your energy in one simple tiny lie, but when your brain is doing that all day long, it's not being productive. Us and the loop also becomes in, like for instance, the narcissistic discard. We loop on how the hell somebody could love us so much and then go to not loving us at all. And we sit. In anybody that has trauma, you sit for days, weeks, months, years, trying to figure out the answer. We're going to work on closing those loops in this
Awesome.
class so you don't just sit there and still try to figure out the answer for years to come.
Awesome.
We're going to support each other on cutting cords as much as possible to not allow these people coming back into our life. And then in the course, I will get into more of why you would want that. We're going to get into more of the narcissistic and empath relationship and why that works, and how us empaths feed the narcissists. And we're going to dive deeper into the therapy in the psyche with all of that stuff, breaking patterns that we have, assessing your support groups, and recreating, I call it recreating a language. And this was one of my big things in healing myself. I had to I had to grow, and I had to create something that was just for me. And I had done this a few times in this not cutting the cord myself. I would create something that I was really passionate about, or I would create something that was just this amazing understanding, and then I would call up the narcissist that I didn't know was a narcissist, and I would invite him back into my life to share that with him. Don't do that. No, wrong answer. Don't do that. And so then, we would go down that avenue again, and then you'd go through the discard, and you're like, what the hell happened? And then I would create something else that helped me stop persisting in the pattern that I was living in.
Awesome. And that's also really important too to become aware of that pattern too, so you're not like creating that with like other people as well too, right? Obviously being able
For sure.
to spot when maybe somebody else comes into your life that has the same traits. I
And
think
we're
that's
gonna
really
go,
hard for people, right?
you know, it is. It's very, very hard to identify these people when they come into your life. And we're going to work on identifying that stuff from the get-go.
Awesome. Yeah, because I know that if you've been hurt and been in a narcissistic relationship, if you don't heal from that fully, right, you're just gonna you're just gonna more than likely
Well,
attract
we
that same
do.
type of person.
Well, we do. We attract a specific person and they come back into our life in a different body over and over and over again. Usually, not everybody. But this is going to be about breaking those patterns and creating something new.
Awesome. Very cool. So you're going to do this live for the first run through, April
Yep.
15th, and you're taking 12 people,
I'm
which is
taking 12
exciting.
people. We're
Awesome.
going on a journey.
Yeah, definitely. So tell us a little bit more details. So when are uh, April 15th is starting. Is that a Wednesday?
It's a Thursday night.
It's a Thursday. Okay, so you're going to do evening. What
I
time?
don't know that you guys want to spend your Friday evening with me.
Who knows? Maybe.
Who
So
knows?
you're gonna
Maybe.
do weekly for 10 weeks every Thursday?
Yes, every Thursday at 6 p.m.
Okay, so tell us if, let's say, if somebody wants to heal from a narcissistic relationship and they can't do the live group, can they still take the course later potentially?
I will have the course available so you can buy the course and the topics and go through them on your own at your own pace. I do highly, highly recommend the group setting though. Those supports that are around you, that's healing. That's your
Okay.
healing ticket right there, for real.
Just
Like you
wondering if
can
maybe they wanted to get
digest
in.
information, but that support system, I believe, is your real ticket to start healing.
Okay, awesome. So if they can't get into that April 15th session, are you going to do another one, maybe live potentially
Absolutely.
sometime after? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they want to do, they would like to do work one-on-one with you, they can also do that as well,
Well, I'm
correct?
a therapist, and so I own my own practice, Soul Space Therapy, and you can find me at soulspacetherapy.com. So I own my own practice, and what that means to you is you're not getting a new therapist in a few months because I'm not leaving my own practice. That's often a big thing that people go through when they go to different practices as their therapist leaves or retires or goes somewhere that, pays differently or whatever. I take insurance. And so for one-on-one sessions, if I'm credentialed with your insurance company, I can take insurance for one-on-ones and then you can do the group therapy course. The group therapy course is not going through insurance.
But they can still also hire you as well. What's your website?
Soulspacetherapy.com.
Okay, we'll make sure we'll put that on the link as well, so they can contact you, do private sessions with you. They can jump in this amazing heal from the narcissistic relationship course, and identify those patterns early on, and really get the help so they can untangle from all of that crazy
Yes,
that narcissistic
yes,
relationship.
yes. You don't want to perpetrate that stuff into your future relationships. Anybody with trauma, you're constantly reacting out of that trauma. So let's say that we get lucky, right? Let's say I leave that narcissistic relationship and my next boyfriend, we want, just amazing best case scenario, right? My next boyfriend is the guy I wanted to be with my whole life. I'm still responding to those triggers.
Mm.
I'm still creating and responding to that. And so untangling out of that stuff and realizing what's real, what's not real, that, your next guy doesn't have to be a narcissist and you don't have to respond or treat him like a narcissist because that creates something in your space in your relationship. And you don't want that guy to have to come in and be your superhero and have it all be on him to heal you, that gets into a whole nother dynamic.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely, positively. So this is really just to really empower you, to heal you, to have better, stronger relationships moving forward. But obviously,
For sure, it creates something for the rest of your life.
definitely, and healing from those is, I know that's very difficult. That's a hard situation to move through, especially on your own.
Sure is.
And
Sure is.
oftentimes, do you find too, people who've been in narcissistic relationships, I see this a lot, and I can even say this is true for me. I didn't really have like a lot of family support. So when I was going through even like my divorce, let's just say, I didn't, there was a lot of places, and now that we're talking about this, there's a lot of places where he kind of set me up. Um,
Yes.
right? Where he set me up in these ways where then like my family thought a different thing about me than I even knew was true. Like I remember at one
For
point
sure.
I was in the hospital and I had the bird flu. I don't know if you remember when the bird flu was going around.
Had it. Had it.
Yeah, I
Not
did
fun.
too, and I was in the hospital and my parents had actually came up and visited me. I was in the hospital for like 3 days. And when I got home, he actually filed for divorce just a few days after that. And when I didn't call my parents, I didn't call anybody for days because I was like, I didn't know what to do. Like I hadn't even ever even considered like getting divorced, right? And then here I
Right.
am like sitting with these divorce papers trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this. And I remember when I called my mom said, well, he had told me that he was going to file for divorce when you had tried to kill yourself. And I went into this space of like, what? That never happened. That wasn't even a thing. So he had told a whole bunch of lies to my parents. And then my mom had said to me that she had heard, these other things. And so it really made it look like I knew what was going on. It made it look like I was aware of, what was happening. And it really kind of made me seem like I was crazy and he was the sane one. And that I think messed me up more than anything.
And well, whether we say, in this instance, whether we say abusive relationship or narcissistic relationship, I mean, those can be different things, but that's their target, is to isolate you from your support groups. And they love to get a hold of your support groups and make them believe horrible things about you so you are left alone. And that is another topic we cover, is who's your people.
Mm, that's a good one because
And
that's
coming
very
out of
important.
these, I mean, coming out of these, you can lose, some people lose everybody, and they're alone with all this, thoughts and crazy making, and why don't people love me? Why didn't people go with me? Why can't people see what happened to me? And it's devastating.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
That's one I hear a lot, where the spouse turns your family against you, and you actually come out of that, I've heard, with no family.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's totally crazy. I've known quite a few people now too that have had that same thing, and it's very devastating all around. So I'm
And when you go
excited.
back,
Go ahead,
I'll
sorry.
just say, like, when you go back to, I pointed out your childhood patterns and how you get what you want earlier. And I don't know if I said it clearly enough that you understand now. When you're manipulative and that is your modality of getting what you want in life, and you don't have empathy, it's easy for people to do stuff like that, like take your whole family away from you and lie to them and feel nothing.
Yeah, it is a crazy thing.
That is dangerous.
Definitely. Absolutely, positively. So I'm glad that these people are going to have help be able to take this course with you at these 10 weeks and transform that. And is this going to help them create like those stronger bonds with new people moving forward as well then?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because for 10 weeks, we are creating bonds.
Awesome.
Yes, we
Super
are.
cool. All right. Well, we will have all of the details, or a link to all the details for Janie's course. We'll have a link to her website, which is soulspacetherapy.com, on the link here for the podcast. So you can join Janie or look at Janie's website, see what she has available there. Also, you can schedule your sessions with Janie and sign up for the course there as well. Is there anything else that you want to add or talk about today about the course before we finish up the call today, Janie?
I think we dove into some pretty good stuff in this podcast here. I just want to add, like, I look very, very forward to meeting you and working with you.
Awesome. I am excited for you to do this course, Janie. I've been trying to talk Janie into doing this course or at least getting this information out there. Janie is a amazing therapist. She has been helping so many people heal their life, go beyond these toxic relationships. For how long have you been a therapist now, Janie?
I've been in this for probably 10 years.
Yeah, definitely. And I think probably even longer than 10 years. Haven't you, hasn't it? I feel like we've known each
I don't
other
know.
for at least 10 years.
Let's not just keep adding numbers in there, okay?
Well, Janie is an excellent therapist, and I know.
20 years, it's still going to be 10 years. No.
All right. She's definitely been one of my favorite go-to referrals for anybody who needs a therapist for quite some time. So if you
Thank you.
require some type of help, please reach out to Janie. Again, soulspacetherapy.com, and you can find a link on the podcast as well. Thank you, Janie, for joining us today. I'm so excited about your course. I'm excited that you're creating courses now. As
This
a
is
course,
pretty exciting.
yeah, as a fellow course creator, I know, like, I mean, when you start getting your courses out there to the world and you can touch so many people, it's like the impact is so profound. And I know that there's such a requirement right now for people to get this information about narcissistic relationships because it's time for us to heal, peeps. So,
Absolutely.
all right, awesome. Thank you so much, Janie, for joining
Thank
us.
you.
And we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
You have been listening to Expand Your Reality with your host, Jamie Bates. Thank you for listening.